And welcome back to Relationship Wednesday. We are on the segment of Ask Pastor Chris. You know that this is how we finish it up, and then we've been doing it very differently. And this year especially, we're going out of the studios, we're going out to talk to the young people. They're asking all kinds of questions that they need, matters relationship. We started with Mandate, then we went into Retake. We did Style My Wife and Style My Hubby with Crystal Okusa. That's just what you've watched right now. And I have come all the way to Thika, to Trident Medical Colleges, and I'm with the students right here. Hi, everybody. Yeah, we were the students here at Trident Medical Colleges. We're going to be talking to them. They are our panel, our guests for Ask Pastor Chris. You're at home, you want to be part of the conversation. Remember, we keep on tweeting. KTN Life and Style, that is the hashtag. Follow us on our social media platforms at KTN Life_Style for both Twitter and Instagram, and KTN Life and Style on Facebook. You could also text us on 22840, especially if you want us to come to your school, your college, to be part of Ask Pastor Chris. Let us know through the social media platforms that we have. These young people here today are bringing up questions, things that they want to know, matters relationship. Who's going to go first?
I'm Grace Omar. I'm from Trident. And my first question is, can you still love each other when you're still in 90?
Yeah. Love doesn't die. What is really true love won't die. And sometimes you've got to then redefine what love is. What keeps people together is not emotions, it's commitment. Most people's definition of love sticks in the place of the emotions, and those ones change with time, depending on how you have been treated, how you're feeling, your own personal changes as you keep on growing. Your priorities, your goals, your desires, your passions. So many things are going to change, which will put a bit of pressure on your emotions. But then what keeps on going is commitment. That commitment is where the real love is. So it is possible to get to 90 with somebody and still be committed to them. All right.
Pastor, you said love doesn't die. Does it wear out?
It can be worn out. But that's why I talked about the commitment issue. Because commitment is you giving yourself to something that is not very easy to do. Like when you come to school, the way you people are in school right now, it takes commitment to be here. It's not every day you feel like you want to go to class. It's not every day you want to be under the rules. It's not every subject that you love. What keeps you going in there is a commitment. So when you move from how you feel to knowing that that's the right thing that you need to do, then you can sustain it. But if you depend on how you feel, there are days you will feel like I need to walk out of this. There are days you will feel like it's not working. He or she has become boring. There's not much that we can talk about anymore. So if you get hooked up to the highs and the emotional highs, then it becomes very difficult. I'll take my next question right there. And the ladies are asking. Let me come to the middle over here. Please pass the microphone.
How do you get to tell someone a relationship is over?
Breaking up. There is usually, every breakup is hurtful, it is painful. But if it has to break, then it is necessary. And the person needs to understand it. It needs to be clear, it needs to be simple, and it needs to be final. That's the only way to do the breakup. You cannot be breaking up while suggesting that there is still room for the relationship to go on, because then the other person will not see that there is finality. So it has got to be clear, simple. I needed to add respectful. It does not have to be a fight. It doesn't have to be insults. It doesn't have to be where everybody is hurting each other. Because when you disagree probably on principle or something. So you can just get to let the other person know in a clear, simple, respectful, but final way that the relationship is over. And that means that you're going to have to take some time without communicating with them, because you don't say one thing and then you are showing different signs. The signs maybe, it's like you're trying to close the door, then you left it not closed. So the other person is thinking you're actually telling them, if you push the door, you can come in. So if you want to close the door, you close it. It does not have to be banged. You don't have to bang the door. You just close it and lock it and know that the chapter is gone. A lot of people, when it comes to things like breakup, they make it very dramatic. And the reason it gets dramatic is that they took too long to break it up. When the signs were out that this relationship wasn't going to work, When they had gotten to the place where they felt they needed to take a break from each other, they did not do that while they were still in charge of their emotions. So they get to a place where their emotions have taken charge, reason has gone off the window, and that's when they come to break up. And sometimes then, even the issues that are the real issues are not addressed then. So people are dealing with emotions. So just do it clear, simple. So if you can't face the person, send a text. Read it 3 times before you send it, so that you make sure that you're sticking to the issue. You're not being disrespectful. All you want is to break up a relationship. You're not trying to hurt the other person. You just want to walk away. So read it 3 times. Go through it. Try to calm down so that you stick to the issue. There was another hand.
Have guys who have broken up, should they be friends, or is it an issue?
It's in the initial stages, that's not very advisable. If 2 people have been in a relationship, somehow their hearts were entangled. So moving on and saying we've broken up today, but from tomorrow we're going to be like friends, let me tell you the truth. If somebody's going out with you and then you break up today and you decide tomorrow you're friends, if another person comes into your life tomorrow, there's still going to be jealousy over here. Even though you've said that you're friends. They may not say it, they may not verbalize it, but they're still going to feel that. So there is need for some space so that your emotions are collected, the 2 of you are clear that now we can move on as friends. Whatever we were having together, we have stopped that chapter, so we start a new chapter. It is advisable to take quite some time just to heal from each other, go past what you've been feeling, recollect yourself. So if friendship will work out again, then it will. You still want to ask a question?
So how am I supposed to help my friend? They broke up, I think, 2 weeks ago, but she's still insisting that they should be friends. She's saying that it's just on a friendship zone, and we all know if you guys have been in love for 5 to 6 years.
That's very risky. They're struggling to let go, and it is how they perceive themselves in that. They probably need to build up their self-esteem a little bit. Who broke up the relationship? Was it how the guy or something? Because even if she did it, she's still fighting to let go, which she should not. You know, you close the door, you close the door. You can't close the door by keeping it open like that. It's going to get complicated somewhere along the line. So they just need to let go. If she wants to be in the relationship, she stays in it. She wants to be out, then she needs to be out.
Okay, I'm Reste Chacha. My question is, why is it that most of the parents refuse their sons or their daughters to get married to other tribes?
Well, I wouldn't know for them, but probably they just have fears. Probably they have grown up, socialized in a certain way with biases, prejudice against certain cultures. So they're afraid that the introduction of a new person is going to change how they do things over there. Maybe they just have grown up thinking that a certain people, stereotyping, certain people behave in a certain way, and they are trying to keep what they think is the purity of their lineage, their culture, their traditions. So it doesn't really have strong basis. It's just fears. Sometimes they're also afraid of how the general society or their relatives are going to view them as somebody who allowed their child to bring in somebody that the community does not accept. So sometimes even for them, it's their own peer pressure that they're dealing with. How will the community look at them? Sometimes they've grown up hearing things very negative about a certain community, and they're not sure. Sometimes it's past experiences, but it's just stereotyping. It doesn't have any basis, but not all parents do that. Finally, there's a gentleman.
I'm Benjamin, and my question is about relationship based on the Bible. There are some guys who are very good using the Bible, and you'll find them, when they go to ladies, they start expressing themselves using the Bible. Does it allow?
I need to know what you mean by using the Bible.
Okay, they quote verses from the Bible as they use it as a defending mechanism before the ladies.
Just stay standing. Are they using verses that are supposed to entice the other person, or verses that are supposed to cage in the other person?
To cage in.
To cage them in. anything that is used to manipulate is not right. So if it is manipulation, for example, if I've got to come to somebody and I've got to tell them that God told me you were this, when I know that they'll only respond because I used God's name or I invoked it or verses, then that's wrong, because that is manipulation. Manipulation is where you make somebody make a decision that they would not have made if you did not exert certain kind of pressure. So if somebody went into the Songs of Solomon, that would be creative. But if you use something that intimidates or threatens somebody to force them to go a certain direction, that's not very right, because it will not last. One day they will wake up and they'll smell the coffee and walk.
I'm Priscilla.
Priscilla?
Yes.
All right, okay.
Okay, you have taught us how to cope up with the breaking relationship or that one that has already broken. Now, what if you want to maintain that relationship? You know, our mommies are known to be patient, to persevere. How can we do it as young people or a couple that is?
Okay, let me get your question again. You are in a relationship?
Yes, and it is dying.
And it is dying?
Yes.
What is making it die?
Okay, so many things.
Yeah. Where two people want a relationship to survive, it will. If they don't want it to survive, or if one person doesn't want it to survive, then there is really nothing much that the other person can do to make it survive. So it begins with, do you want it to survive? Do you want it to live? If you get to the point where you have defined, or rather you have agreed, you want it to last, it's very easy for you to deal with the things that try to kill it, because you'll always have the bigger picture of the relationship over the smaller issues that kill relationships. So if you're fighting over things, or if it is a breakdown in communication, if it is a matter of trust or the lack of trust, if it is a matter of one person not being faithful to the other person, whether it is emotionally or physically, whichever way, then you begin to discuss it. But if both wanted to leave, it will, because if I am wrong, then I apologize. If I have wronged the other person, then they forgive. That's part of making it work. One of the things that makes relationships not work is pride. One person either not accepting that they are wrong, or the other person being too proud to forgive. But if the two will bring themselves down, make compromises, they can always pick up the pieces and start with what they have left and build it up. Every relationship that has lasted had bad days. It had days when they thought it would not work. They just chose to make it work. So when you see it completely die, somebody gave up on it. These gentlemen are acting like they have no questions. And they're part of the questions that are being asked right now.
Yeah.
In fact, they're the reason the ladies are asking questions. All right, ask that, then we come to the gentleman here.
How will you know that someone really loves you?
I'll go back to where we started. Look at their commitment. Look at their effort. Look at how they go out of their way to either be with you, please you, not hurt you. Just see how they move out of their skin to make you become the center of their life. You see that they may not say it too many times, because it's very easy for anybody to keep on saying I love you, but they don't mean it, they don't act it. But look at how much they're working hard to keep you in their lives, how much they're willing to give up just to keep you happy, how much they're avoiding to hurt you. That would show you true commitment. That person doesn't want you to live their lives. All right, there's this gentleman here. I need the microphone.
Is it possible to love a person without liking a person?
I'm trying to get into your definition of what liking would be. It is possible in a sense that probably you've loved somebody, and then there's certain things that they have done or certain way that they have behaved, and so you're not pleased with the behavior, but somehow you still feel you're committed to the person. That you're still attached to the person, but you're not pleased with their behavior. So, and liking would most probably come from things that have happened, which can change over time. That's how people who love each other hurt each other, because somebody has done something that somebody did not like. So if that keeps on going on, you can find two people breaking up They're still very much in love, but they cannot stand each other. So it's possible that there are other things that come in even where love is. And that's why I go back to the place of then it is commitment, because if you only rely on how you feel, you walk away.
Why is it that in a relationship, there are these small things that the ladies consider more than men? You find that she can tell you to do something, just mere, but to you, you'll ignore it, which brings about hurting her. Then another question is...
You asked why? Because they're ladies and you're a man, and to ladies... So what would be, what you think is meager to them is important to them. So before you even ask the next one, that's part of growing to know your partner. You get to know what means much to them. If it does not mean much to you and it means much to them, you start paying attention.
Then another question is, why is it that, as in, what are the basis of a relationship?
The basis, the basics, the foundation, they're more internal than they are external. They're those things, the character of the person, those ones will always outlast everything else. It's good to be attracted to somebody. It's good for them to look good. It's good for them to smell good, dress good, and all of that. But those ones can change. It depends on stage, finances, mental state, and all of that. But there are those things that you can't buy. There are things like honesty. There are things like responsibility. There are things like truthfulness. There are things like reliability, dependability. So most of the things that are supposed to form the foundation of a relationship are internal because it is two souls coming together. So you go past the flesh, you go past who they are on the outward to who they are on the inside. Somebody can be looking very good, but they never keep their word. Somebody can be smelling very good. It could be a guy who has enough money to treat a lady very well, but then is very abusive mentally or emotionally. So those are the things that you look at. Respect. Respect is both ways. It's not just the ladies that give the men respect, it's the men also have to give respect to the ladies. So most of the things that should form the foundation of a relationship are things that are internal.
Okay, then the last question is, why is it, as in, how can you go about on a situation that, for example, you find that there are two people who are in a relationship, but each and every time they disagree. How can you go about it? And what can you do about it to improve on the situation?
It just means that there's a breakdown in communication. Either somebody is not listening, or is not interpreting things right, or the other person is not passing out their message correctly. So they need to tone down their temperatures. They need to bring down their emotions and begin to listen to each other and begin to trace why are they not agreeing? Why are they not coming to a place of convergence? Because in communication, communication is the key to every relationship. If you see a relationship beginning to have a problem, the first place that you've got to check is communication. If right now I cannot be heard on air, it would be because somewhere the connection is wrong. So that's what happens with communication in a relationship. And that's where people have got to begin tracing, like, could there be a place where communication was lost? In communication, 4 aspects of it: whatever I think and whatever I say should be what you hear and interpret. The 4 stages is that my thinking and my speech. So what I think is what I say, that's my intention. Then what you hear is what you interpret. That means that what I was thinking in my mind, my intention, should become your interpretation. If you don't interpret it the way I did intend it, there is a breakdown in communication. And there's going to be issues. So it's just important for them to go back and sit down and try to find out what exactly don't you understand. There is a question that I always tell people who are in relationships to always ask. If you don't understand something, just ask, what did you mean by that? It does not lower you and it is not tiring. Just ask, what did you mean by that? Never make assumptions. Assumptions are the lowest form of communication because you're going to make a mess out of an assumption. So it's very good to make things clear. So you got this gentleman right over here.
What is the correct time for someone to get married? And what are the factors or things that will show you that is for
Are we
real?
talking about the man or the lady?
Both.
Both of them.
And what are the factors or things that will show you that for real it's now the correct time?
When it comes to marriage, it's like how children grow. Babies don't start walking the same time. They don't start talking at the same time. They don't grow at the same rate. So even relationships grow at different rates. You cannot put a timeline to it, and you cannot put a pressure. You can't say after you've related for 1 year or 2 years or 5 or 7. It depends on the maturity of the two people. It depends on their willingness to take responsibility and commitment. It depends on their emotional, mental, financial stability. That is very key. So if I'm still carrying, for example, I'm carrying baggage from my past relationships, that may not be the best time for me to settle down. I may even be at the age where I think I should, but if I am not emotionally stable and I'm not mentally stable, that may not be the time. So all of them must play together. Then there is the issue of, am I really willing to commit now to that one person? So the factors that come in are very different, and they vary in different stages from one person to the other. Then it is the place where, do you feel you've known this person just well enough? You can't know anybody well, you can't know everything about them, but have you known them well enough to trust what you don't know about them? You will know a part, there is a part you will never know. So the little that you know, do you think that that's good enough for you to go into what you don't know? So if you were convinced and you have the conviction in you, this is the right person, we've had our own fights, we've had our own ups and downs, and I feel that I can still commit my life to this person, I don't want to live life without them, then you go ahead. If you're uncertain, it's not your time. All right, the lady.
Can I still love my ex after an act of unfaithfulness? And if I accept him back, will I not be lowering my dignity as a woman?
You see, there are two things there that you've got to separate. You've got to separate love from how you feel about the pain. Because his act of unfaithfulness hurt you. But you loved him. The only reason that he hurt you was because you loved him. If you didn't have love for him, it would not hurt you. So the problem here is not love. The problem here is the pain. Are you willing to deal with that pain? Are you able to go past that pain? Are you able to then trust them again? So love is not an issue, because love is still going to be in there for a while. Even if you break up with them over there, a part of you will still love them for a while, but you will have made a decision based on their action. So when you are thinking about whether to have them back, you are making a very mental and logical decision, like, do I want to deal with this pain? Is he willing to change? What if he does it again? Am I going to allow it? Then you begin to weigh the benefits that he brings in and whether that is a minor defect or it is a major thing. So sometimes people work through it if they want to. That's us, Pastor Chris, for us today. You know, we keep the conversation going on Twitter all the way. We've been having this talk and the conversation, questions coming from the Trident medical colleges, great young people asking all kinds of questions. Follow us on our social media platforms at KTN_Life_Style, that is for Twitter, and for Instagram, KTN_Life_Style for Facebook. 22840 is our text message number. It has been a delight to host you today on Relationships Wednesday. Keep it right, KTN_Life_Style. Tomorrow is Inspiration Thursday. Don't go away. God bless you. Have a lovely day.